Welcome back to Exposing Leftist Lunacy. Check out this dude who thinks it's okay for a mother to terminate her child a month after it's born, just as long as it hasn't turned into a real baby yet. Think I'm kidding?
They're not babies when they're a month old. They're not babies yet.
When they're a month old? They're not babies?
Okay, I can see I'm not going to win this argument.
No, I'm just trying to get it's not about winning. It's about just trying to understand your thought process. So when babies are a month old, they're not babies?
There's something like a baby, but the woman has the right to choose what happens at that point. So, I think that fetus should go, and then she can have more kids when she's better.
So let's talk about...
I can't be here all day.
Elective, where the woman just doesn't want the child.
There's no black and white in the world. Everything is subjective depending on the different factors. I don't think you have a right, or that you should believe that once a woman gets pregnant, that's a child, and there can't be an abortion, even for very good reasons.
Whenever I talk to people about it, they just either keep walking away or they call me names, right?
Well, you have one opinion, they have another. I did stop to talk to you.
I appreciate that.
So anyway, this is what democracy is about. People can have different opinion and vote differently.
Yeah, well, the vast majority of the country agrees with me, though, which is really what matters is elections. So
people voted for Trump. Do you really think Trump is a good president?
I think he's a better option than Kamala Harris, who wanted abortion through all 9 months and was going to take my right as a woman away to defend myself with a firearm.
So, am I being filmed?
You are.
Will this be on TV?
Well, it'll be on YouTube.
You didn't tell me that.
You're in a public space and I'm using a microphone.
But you're talking to me, like pictures there, so everyone...
Did you notice the microphone?
I did, but, maybe you're making a recording. I didn't know you were going to have a video.
Yeah, it's a
recording. What you're doing is so horrible that you tricked me into doing this. And
I didn't trick you. Don't.
Keep your hands off. Keep your hands off.
No,
keep your hands off. I'll keep recording. Keep your hands off. Keep your hands off. You can't do this.
I'm going to destroy that camera.
Try it. Go ahead. Try it.
See what happens.
You're a piece of
Okay.
Yeah, you're a piece of too.
You march for women?
Go away, please.
You march for women?
Get the out of here.
My body, my choice. I get to be here in this space.
I don't care what your stance on abortion is. How does any non-psychotic mind justify such a thing? Does it get any sicker than that? I think not. But that's why we're here, to expose every single one of them. And that'll do it for this edition of Exposing Leftist Lunacy. I'm your host, Donald J. Reganowski, and I'll be right back here tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern on the FAFO channel. The Jeff Michaels Show is next.
Good evening. I'm Jeff Michaels. Till last week, you'd have been hard-pressed to find anyone that could have imagined someone like Zoran Mamdani being elected mayor of New York City, or any city in this country for that matter. His family was part of the 1% elite in Uganda. His father was a politically connected professor in Uganda whose main focus was colonialism and political violence, and was later a professor at Columbia for many years, still connected with him. His mother is an award-nominated Indian-American director known for a number of films. His family was later kicked out of Uganda, and they ultimately settled in the New York area when Zoran was 7. It was in New York City that he attended the Bank School, a very elite school, later went to the Bronx High School of Science before going on to study college at the small elite school in Brunswick, Maine, called Bowdoin College. But he still thinks there should be no billionaires. Does that include George Soros? And he's got this fabulous idea. City-run grocery stores, high-quality grocery stores in the poorest neighborhoods, offering the freshest produce and vegetables, all for pennies on the dollar. He talked about it with CNN's Aaron Burnett.
City-run grocery stores, I've proposed a pilot program of 1 store in each borough. These are 5 stores in total. The total cost of this is $60 million. This is less than half the cost of what the city is already set to spend on a subsidy program for corporate supermarkets that has no guarantee of cheaper prices or collective bargaining agreements or even accepting
So
SNAP
you're not
or WIC.
looking at some like Soviet Union grocery stores on every corner that are going to be run by the government.
No, what I'm looking at is how to solve the very clear twin crises of affordability when you go to the grocery store and food deserts, which disproportionately impact Black and brown New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs.
How could no one have come up with this idea before? Seems so simple. City is spending $140 million on a program to make quality food more affordable in food deserts. Except it doesn't actually guarantee lower prices, so Zohran says. So he'll just redirect $60 million of it to his new city-run grocery stores. Just one problem. He misread the city website, which talks about the City Fresh program in which $140 million has been invested in New York City grocery stores since 2013 by a few local grocery chains like Key Foods and Wegmans. And it's targeted at helping about 20 stores, give or take 1 or 2 here and there, in poor neighborhoods, help them stock quality fruits and vegetables and keep the prices down. In return, they get some tax breaks, about $30 million so far over the 12 years total. No, there isn't $140 million being collected every year from these grocery chains for the City Fresh program, while still not accomplishing too much, as Zohran wants you to think. In actuality, City Fresh has collected about $11 million a year since 2013 for these 20 or so stores. That works out to about $500,000 per store, per year. It's a nice help, sure it does some good, but obviously it's not going to set anyone's world on fire. But this is where Zohran wants you to think he's going to get the money for these magnificent new city-run stores.
Grocery prices are out of control. The cost of eggs and milk has skyrocketed. Some stores are even using dynamic pricing, jacking up the cost over the course of a day depending on what they can get away with.
You ever heard of that? I haven't. Maybe he's confusing it with Uber surge pricing.
It doesn't need to be this way. I'm Zohran Mamdani, and as mayor, I will create a network of city-owned grocery stores. It's like a public option for produce. We will redirect...
Like there's a snowball's chance in hell that any of his socialist-run grocery stores will actually ever look that good.
Redirect city funds from corporate supermarkets to city-owned grocery stores, whose mission is lower prices, not price gouging. These stores will operate without a profit motive.
Yes, Mom. No profit motive. That should work out well. But you know what the end game is, right? It's not to have a chain of city-run grocery stores. He has to know that they won't be able to get quality vegetables and produce at these kind of prices for these stores. The regular chains will get everything first, and they will get everything last. The meat will probably be out of date half the time. So what's the real goal? He wants the city to own and control all the grocery stores. Just imagine that. New Yorkers will have to go to New Jersey or Westchester or Long Island to buy groceries. But of course you have to know, being a communist, that's hardly where he wants to stop. Brace yourself for this marketing piece that he did a couple years ago during his last campaign for Queens Assemblyman. As you'll see, he's just got the biggest and most caring smile. He makes it sound all just so wonderful. City buying up all private property, creating utopian neighborhoods where everyone can flourish. This should scare the shit out of you.
American housing is in crisis. Right now, up to 12 million Americans are behind an average of $5,800 on rent and risk eviction. With eviction moratoriums soon to expire, we're facing an unprecedented wave of evictions and foreclosures that will crash straight into millions of struggling families across the country. In places like New York or Los Angeles or San Francisco, median rents for even one-bedroom apartments could approach $2,500 a month or more. About a third of people in Los Angeles spend a majority of their income on housing. In New York City, about 20% of all renters pay most of their income to their landlord. And in my district, Astoria, about a quarter of residents have to spend most of their paycheck on rent. At the root of all of this suffering is the fact that in this country, housing is treated as a commodity, not a right. It's a consumer product, just like clothes or cars, that private businesses can sell on the market to make a profit. And if someone isn't able to pay, either because their landlord raised their rent or because they can't work for one reason or another, they're not able to stay in their homes. If we want to end the housing crisis, the solution has to be moving toward the full decommodification of housing. In other words, moving away from the status quo, in which most people access housing by purchasing it on the market, and toward a future where we guarantee high-quality housing to all as a human right. So how can we do it? We'll have to go beyond the market. We can establish community land trusts to gradually buy up housing on the private market and convert it to community ownership. We can give tenants a right of first refusal to buy out their landlords when buildings go up for sale. And we can fully commit to a new era of social housing, ending subsidies for luxury housing development and using our wealth to build beautiful, high-quality social housing projects that offer good homes and strong communities to everyone. We won't decommodify housing overnight, but we know what we have to do, and we have history to guide us. And we know how we'll get there, through a movement of the multiracial working class organizing for the better world we know is possible. And we've already begun. I'm Zohran Mamdani, Assemblyman for New York's 36th Assembly District in Astoria, Queens.
We have history to guide us. We sure do. We know it's failed every time, but not before taking hundreds of millions of lives first. People had the temerity to disagree with the group. We better hope and pray for New York City, and for the rest of us for that matter, that this guy doesn't smell Gracie Mansion. There are 5.2 million registered voters in New York City. 5.2 million. Mamdani won the Democratic primary with only 400,000 votes. Also, who could have imagined that Andrew Cuomo, former governor and AG from a New York political dynasty, even with his baggage, would get significantly less than that? And if you want any real insight into what it would look like if he does win, look no further than Chicago. They have a socialist mayor right now. And one of the first things he wanted to do when he got elected was build a city-run grocery store in a poor neighborhood. Never got very far. Mamdani got 400,000 votes in the Democratic primary. There are more Jewish registered voters in New York City. I have to assume this woke them up at least. Right now, polls show Andrew Cuomo as Mamdani's closest challenger, actually. But it's not close. Most polls have them about 8 to 10 points apart. I wonder how they'll handle confiscating and redistributing the units on Billionaires Row on Central Park South. He seemed to have an especially sinister smile when he mentioned giving right of first refusal to purchase the unit you're renting from your asshole landlord. Nobody should own or, God forbid, become a landlord, but you can if you want. When we come back, sure looks like the bloom is off Pam Bondi's rose due to her atrocious handling of the Epstein files. We'll dig deeper